Alright, this is addition review, and as it says, you're working on this sheet because you missed the addition questions on the quiz, or you made major mistakes on the addition questions on the quiz. You have to remember that addition of polynomials is just like combining like terms. It's like when I said if you have 6 bottles of ketchup and 3 bottles of ketchup, you do not end up with 9 bottles of mustard. Notice how it went from k and k to k squared. You do not change the label whenever you add combine like terms. You're just putting everything together and organizing it. And so that is the key thing on where some of you messed up there. Others of you just did not really pay attention to what the signs were, what the numbers were. But again, just remember that you work with the coefficients, but do not change the variable attachments when you are combining terms. You have to separate this out, and there are two main things that separate addition from multiplication. Addition is combining of like terms, which is when you simply put things that are alike together. Well, let's think about it. If you put two things that are alike, it does not change what they look like. So 6k and 3k go together because they both have a k, which means when you put them together, it should still look like a k. It should not change. So be careful on that. So if you look at a question like 8e to the 5th plus 5e to the 5th, both of these can be put together because of the e to the 5ths. So what you do is say, well, if I have 8 here, 5 there, that combines to make 13, but it should still be e to the 5th, not e to the 10th. Please don't make that mistake. Again, if you are combining two things, you're saying I have 8e to the 5ths and 5e to the 5ths. Altogether it makes 13e to the 5th. Please don't change it. The second thing you have to be careful of is it only goes together if the titles are exactly the same. This is that thing where I talked about Hunt's ketchup versus Heinz ketchup, that you cannot put them all together on one rack. They're in the same location, but they're not all the same, and you have to make sure that you understand x to the third y is not the same as xy to the third. So these two can't go together, but both of these can, and so you get 18x to the third y minus 7x to the third y. Both of these have the same label, so you do 18 minus 7, which is, I believe, 11, but again, the label stays the same, plus whatever else was there, which is 9xy to the third. So again, you simply combine your like terms, and don't change the label today on this sheet whenever you do it. That is if you want your points. But like I said, just don't change the label and make sure you do that the right way. Here, you remember again that plus means just simply put everything together. And so you have your 3m squared and your 5m squared, which, as we just said, 3 and 5 make 8, and the label does not change. Then you put a negative 9 with a positive 2. If you don't know what that is, especially on a test, please make sure you do something to work that to your advantage. That's minus 7, and then again the label on that does not change. Okay, so notice again that we find the sum of the coefficients and then simply copy the variable attachments. That's whenever you are combining terms or adding. Work on the following questions for your participation today. Depending on how you did in other areas, you might actually have more than one section. There are a lot of people who do. The activities aren't long, so focus more on learning. You have today and tomorrow to finish this stuff, but keep in mind you have to turn this into me. I'm going to grade it, and I'm not going to accept it until it's perfect. So you bring it up to me, I look at it, I see where your mistakes are, I'll tell you where you messed up, you'll go back and try to fix it, and you are working for the most part alone on this. So don't get caught cheating, don't get caught doing anything else, because obviously if you messed up on the quiz, you need some time alone to kind of think for yourself. So but just make sure you understand, again, failure to show some sort of work could cost you points. So other than that, go ahead and get started on this. Again, show me something on that. Either you're underlining things or doing something to show me that you're putting stuff together. And I know you might think, well, that's a lot of work to show, but for me, if you missed it on the quiz, you deserve to show a lot of work because you obviously don't know it yet. So make sure you do the job right, otherwise you're going to be having a 0 on this, or and your grade will be dropping. So other than that, like I said, do the rest of this and then hand it in to me and go on to your next one if you have one.